you can have an attitude of, you know what, there's things I'm learning, there's things that I'm adapting myself to. There might even be things that, whether they seem positive in the moment or not, you're practicing. You're practicing for something that might come up that might be a lot harder.
Welcome to How to Thrive in IT. This is episode 5. Today we are talking about going from just surviving to thriving in information technology and in life in general.
How we thrive. This is how to thrive in IT.
And now here's your host. He's been driving around for weeks trying to get a signal, and he smells like feet wrapped in leathery burnt bacon. Here's DJ Eshelman.
Welcome back to How to Thrive in IT, information technology. I say thrive because we don't want to just survive. That's what we're going to talk about today. My name is DJ Eshelman, glad to be with you once again. Today we're going to talk about the difference between surviving and thriving and some nuances in that. I guess we can go ahead and call this a mindset one. There's going to be a lot of them because it's that important. And it's not something we talk about very often. A lot of times we just kind of default to the easy conversations. And when I say easy conversations, it's actually easier to talk about the things we can put our hands on and know, like what we do for a living. And it's not always as easy to talk about the things we are unsure about. That level of uncertainty is, I believe, what sometimes gets us into a bit of trouble mindset-wise when it comes to working in information technology. And it gets us caught in survival mode instead of thriveful mode. Yeah, I don't know how that works. But reality is that if you're only surviving, if you just are making it through every day, that's no way to live, right? Who wants to do that? Who has a desire for that? Ain't nobody. I struggle with how to articulate this, I guess. But I guess I'd get frustrated at times with people. I do, but not for the reasons you think. I get frustrated because people just are victims. There's no other way to say it. They just always think that life happens to them and not for them. They think that they'll never get ahead. They think that they have to fight or backstab others to get anything in this world. They think that people that are wealthy or rich or whatever you want to say got so by exploiting others. They think that there's a finite amount of resources out in the world. They don't know how to create abundance in their lives. And that is what I'm trying to fight against. Now, this isn't some how to get rich kind of thing. Trust me, I don't know. I've known how to be successful to a certain degree. I have not yet proven in my life how to sustain that. So I'm coming from a point of I don't have all the answers, but what I have is the right mindset, I believe, and that there is a way to survive. Yeah, sure. But trying to thrive, doing your best to have a mindset that's oriented towards thriving instead of just getting by is just a better way to live. It's not just about what works and doesn't work professionally. It's just a way to live. And again, to bring this into a positive mindset about this. The reality is that you're better off than you think you are, I guess, in a lot of ways, I guess is what I'm saying here. The thing about being a thriver is that it's evidence to the contrary, I guess, sometimes. It is something where it's just like, yeah, I all these things are happening and I can't change anything about them. So I'm just going to choose to have an attitude of saying, you know what? There's something to be learned here. Like we said in the last episode, what does this make possible? The challenges that we face that, hey, you know what? It causes us to adapt and overcome.
This episode was recorded in February of 2024, and DJ didn't know at the time that we would have a little thing we now do every week.
Resource of the week. Oh yeah, resource of the week. What will it be this week? Get ready to take a peek.
This week's resource is Brain.fm. Do you struggle to concentrate? Do you have trouble relaxing or getting motivated? Brain.fm is an app for your phone that generates special frequencies over music, appropriate for whatever your goal is. This scientific principle is something that DJ studied in college and uses almost daily. Brain.fm is unique in that you can adjust the level of intensity to suit your biology or level of comfort, something you can't get from YouTube song loops. Our referral link is thrive-it.com/brainfm. That link again is thrive-it.com/brainfm, or look for it in the show notes. You'll get your first 30 days on us. And then DJ gets 30 days free when you sign up. Win. Meet Win. Oh, glad to meet you, Win. Man, I wish DJ would stop making me say silly things. So head to thrive-it.com/brainfm to get 30 free days of Brain.fm. Brain.fm, your resource of the week.
The other reality here that I want to face is the financial thing in nature. I mean, I'm coming to you from a place of, not great financial stability in my life. I made some risks. I did some things that I thought were going to be working out, serving people that I wanted to serve in a way I wanted to serve them, but not the way they wanted to be served, I think. It's just a reality sometimes I face that I kind of screwed up. I lingered too long in doing things that people didn't want done, I guess I could say. There's always the possibility that this podcast is exactly that. But you know what this podcast is for me? Practice. I don't mean just practice in recording and editing. I already know how to do that more or less. I could be better at it, sure, and I'm going to get better at it. Process here. What I'm talking about is more practice finding out how I can help you. Because if I learn how to help people in information technology at this point, I'm convinced that I can help anyone. If I can help people that are, it amazes me how resistant to change people in information technology can be when all their faces change. And I think that's probably why they're resistant to change. I guess you could say, tired of it. The thing is, yes, things change a lot in IT. Yes, things force you to have to adapt. And I see that in not just IT. I think it happens in some other entrepreneurial ventures that I have going on as well, and that I've had to adapt. I'll give you an example. This stuff is not my primary source of income. Just for the record, I know sometimes it's presented that way and it kind of feels that way, like, oh, wow, you're a published author. You must make, all the bank. And reality is I've spent more money publishing my book than I've made from publishing my book. Hard reality. It's true, but I've learned a lot. I've learned so many things I'm going to be able to carry forward in my life and rolling into the future. But earlier this May, my primary source of consulting work, which is actually Citrix themselves, ended the way they were doing consulting work. Whether they still are doing consulting work is a discussion for another day, but I'm not doing it with them. That has come to an end. And I don't see a scenario where that's going to be a thing again, at least not directly for Citrix. Now, what that makes possible is that I can now widen my field a little bit, but the hard reality of that is that I don't have that to fall back on. So there's this harshness there, I guess I could say, in my life that I had to face. But that being said, how do I thrive in that situation? Well, I have learned a lot of things along the way, a lot of skill sets or whatever I want to call it, that I've developed as part of everything else I've been doing. They're portable. They only work in one situation. And I know sometimes we get caught up in that, but the reality is that I can thrive in multiple situations now because of the things that I've learned in trying to apply or trying to learn new skill sets about how to educate people, how to help people understand certain things. I've learned more about YouTube in the last 2 years than I ever would have thought even possible to learn at all, just as an example. So I think there comes a point where just have to realize there's always a way to thrive in a situation. So let's say that you are an employee and you have a boss that is a little hard to deal with, is a little bit of maybe an acerbic personality, or is somebody who doesn't really believe in the principles that I'm talking about here. But you want to be somebody who is a better person, who is a thriver. You don't have to be constrained by your circumstances. You don't have to be constrained by what is there in front of you. You don't have to be locked into the world that you're faced with as far as the physical reality that confronts you. You can have an attitude of, you know what, there's things I'm learning. There's things that I'm adapting myself to. There might even be things that, whether they seem positive in the moment or not, you're practicing. You're practicing for something that might come up that might be a lot harder. My wife says to me a lot, she can't imagine how I deal with the stresses that I deal with. And sometimes there are things that I'm like, is that stressful? I didn't even realize it would be. But she's facing it and can't even imagine, how she would get through it. Or if she was facing it, she wouldn't have no idea how to get through it. And so she will tell me all the time, he's like, she just not just respects me, but is really proud of me. I need to hear that too. I need to hear that my wife is proud of me and wants to see me successful and these kind of things. It's important. But in terms of that, when you don't have an encouraging voice, when you don't have people that are helping you succeed, when you have situations where you can potentially feel very lost, and you can feel like, sometimes you just feel like giving up. It's the honest truth. I'm just being real with you. And I've been there. I have absolutely been there. And what I want to tell you is, hey, it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be anywhere near like that. And you don't have to stay at the job you're at. You don't have to. Hear me. I'm saying you don't have to do things, because that's the truth. You don't have to do the good lot of the things that we think we have to do. We don't have to stay in the same job. There are other jobs out there, like I'm saying. Certain things you should, in my opinion, like if you committed to something, you should see it through. We don't want to be people that go on a whim for whatever we feel. That's not appropriate either. But everything is figure-outable, is what a mentor of mine says. I want to encourage you that it's okay to thrive. I've heard so many times that people just don't realize that it's okay to have a positive attitude about life and information technology and about life in general. And you're not going to be looked down on for having a positive attitude. You're not going to have people thinking, oh gosh, she's a tool. You're not going to be having people think, oh, she's just clueless. She doesn't understand the world. She's just, existing in it and oblivious. That's not going to be a thing. That's not real. So, yeah. So be encouraged. Be encouraged. You can thrive in IT. And going forward, we are going to tell you more things about how to do that. My intention is to put this out there and believe that you are going to take it and run with it and become better people. And all I ask is two things. One is that you subscribe, because it's a podcast. And if you don't ask for people to subscribe on a podcast, then it's not really a podcast. I'm joking, of course. It's not actually true, but it feels like it sometimes. And the second thing you can do, and this is more important, is find a way to help people understand that I'm okay. People don't know me. People don't know who I am. You to assume that people know who I am is a mistake. So there's two ways you can do that I can think of off the top of my head. One, most important, share this podcast, this episode, whatever, with the people that are in your network, that are around you. Anybody who is in your LinkedIn network, for example, just share this episode. It's a quick little thing you can do that means the world to me. I'm not making money from this podcast, really. It's not something that is going to be a thing. That's in fact, I'm projecting forward that this whole project's probably going to be a financial loss. But you know what? It's something that I want to do because I care about lifting you up. So just be encouraged with that. But also, there's various sites out there like Apple Podcasts, blah, blah, blah. You can leave a review or a rating. So please do. And if there's things that you want to see me do differently, if you just don't like something and you'd like to give me some feedback, feel free to do that, either on the reviews or contact me privately. You can find a way to do that on our website, thrive-it.com. Love to hear from you. Love to get your feedback. Love to hear your takeaways from this episode or others, whatever it is. Love to hear from you. Be encouraged. You don't just have to survive this. You absolutely can thrive this, and we're here to help. See you next time.
Thanks for being here for How to Thrive in IT. If you'd like a tool to truly thrive, we have a gift for you. DJ's book, Just Do This, A Simpler Way to Succeed in IT, is the book that people have said that they wish they had 10 years ago to help them move ahead in their career. The book covers over 20 years of hard lessons that it turns out didn't take 20 years to learn. You'll learn DJ's risk-less methodology and how various roles in an IT organization have different expectations. You'll leave not only knowing how things should work, but how you best fit in. You'll learn how to communicate with management and how to write documentation that stands the test of time. You'll learn how to work with project managers and set expectations for staff around you. But most importantly, you'll learn how to bring home more money and spend time doing things that really matter. We want to get you started with a complimentary PDF of the entire first section of the book. Head to thrive-it.com/JDTPC1. That's thrive-it.com/JDTPC and the number 1. But wait, there's more. As a podcast listener, you'll not only get a copy of part 1, but also some exclusive tips from DJ sent to your email inbox. And you'll also have the opportunity to get the full audiobook. Head to thrive-it.com/JDTPC1. A big thanks to Just Do This, our seasonal sponsor for How to Thrive in IT. Now go thrive.